Welcome back, mamas. Y'all, today we are going to dive deeper and get really clear on how to let go of that old version of yourself that you may be holding on to that no longer fits you. It no longer suits you, what that looks like, and how to walk into that new version of yourself that is just waiting to break free. So let's get to it. Do you wish you had control of your days, that you had a rhythm, but instead feel overwhelmed, scattered, and like there's never enough time? You're in the right place. I'm Danielle, a recovering workaholic, wife, and stay-at-home mom of 2 girls. I've learned how to reclaim my time and find purpose and freedom so I can be present with my kids and feel like myself again. Here, we embrace where we are, but we don't stay there. So if you're ready to trade the chaos for clarity, the guilt for grace, and the endless to-do list for aligned flow, grab the kiddos a snack and toss in that laundry because I know you're multitasking, and let's do this because your time, your purpose, and you matter. Okay, mamas. So today we are expanding on the question that I left you with on Tuesday, which was, are you holding on to an old version of yourself that no longer fits you? It no longer suits you. And I hope that you did some reflection on that. I hope you have really come to terms with maybe you are doing that. And maybe that's why you're here today listening, is because you know that it is not working. You don't exactly know what is broken or how really to fix it, but you feel like you've been putting in this work on yourself, that you have been living this mom life, that you are staying busy, you are doing all of the things that you thought would bring you happiness, would bring you this joy. You are doing all of the right things, or so you thought. You feel like you're putting in the work, right? But it's just not working. Right? You're putting in the work, but it's not working. And you don't know where to go from here or why it is not working. So I'm going to start us off with a quote here from Ramit Sethi, I believe. If something isn't working, don't try harder or do more. Do something different. So when something isn't working, a lot of times we double down. We become more busy. We, try the thing that we thought was going to work. We keep trying to add things to our plate to kind of make it work, right? To force it to work. But what we need to do is to actually do something different. We need to do something different. I know you've heard the saying, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. That is kind of what we are doing as mothers. We know that we aren't the same person that we used to be, right? We are a mother now, and that we may never have realized it really changed us at our core. It really changed who we are as a person. But we are doing the same things that we always used to do that used to bring us joy, but they aren't really bringing us that joy any longer. We aren't really getting the same satisfaction. Maybe we're getting this fleeting joy or an emotion of happiness in the moment because we remember this old version of ourselves, and it's doing, something for us, but it really isn't suiting who you are. I know once that I had decided that something needed to change, that I needed to do something different. I knew things were broken. I had gone through a depression. I had decided I needed to prune things out of my life. I had decided I needed to start something different, but I wasn't sure what to do or where to go. And so I just started doing all of these things. And one of the things that I started to do was I joined this network marketing company. It was a brand new company. I have no idea why I said yes to it. But it really, honestly, it was a godsend. It really did help me to get out of the rut that I was in by doing something different, right? I said I was never going to do network marketing. It was not something that I wanted to do, but this was actually a company that was dealing with something I loved, which was clothing. I had always been someone who was extremely into clothing and fashion, and, I was known for that. And so it was in the clothing industry. And then it was also a brand new and exciting business. The potential was huge, and they had this motto, and it was permission granted, be you. Permission granted, be you. And I clung to that. I absolutely loved that motto. That was calling me almost more than anything, right? Like I was super drawn to that. And the reason behind it wasn't necessarily because I had never been able to be myself. And so I wanted to start being myself. And I thought that that looked different. It was more because I wasn't sure who I was anymore. And I needed to give myself permission to be who I was now, right? Like the version of myself that I was before I became a mother was no longer serving me. Like she was no longer the person that I was, right? And so I was like needing the permission from myself, right? Like a lot of people might see that permission granted be you and think of like, a lot of other things that it didn't actually mean, right? It didn't actually mean anything about, we talk about identity a lot in this world. And it was for me about embracing my new identity as a mom, not necessarily like, a different identity, right? But something that really kind of came about because of something beautiful that had happened in my life, right? I had now had these two amazing children, and the person that I was changed because of that. Right. And it was a beautiful thing. It wasn't something that I was like forcing, but what I was trying to do was like fit in to who I used to be with who I was now and kind of like go with that. And it just wasn't working for me. And I know I've talked to so many moms who have done this exact same thing. And I just was like spinning my wheels because of it. I think of another experience that I had when I was doing that business. I joined this like group, and it was an amazing group of women. I absolutely loved them. It was all about networking and growing. And I joined as an ambassador. And so I was going around and I was like representing the organization, and I was selling my savvy, and I was around other women, empowering other women, doing all of these things that kind of brought me joy. But at the same time, I was not being my new self. I was trying to be my old self in my new self, if that makes any sense. Like I was trying to be my old self, and I was around all of these people who they were amazing people, but they weren't at the same stage of life that I was in. Like they weren't other moms. It was this person that I used to be was the majority of the people that I was around. And while that was a great experience, and while I actually loved the organization and what they were doing and everything, it just wasn't who I was. I was trying to fit my new self into this old version of myself that would have loved, like I would get energized and I would like love talking with these women and everything. But for some reason, it really wasn't sinking in or clicking. And it wasn't until I realized that it was because I was trying to merge the two together. I was trying to make my new self fit into things that my old self would have loved. And I really would have embraced this community. And I did embrace the community in a way, but there was some disconnect there. And I didn't see it until later, until I was already involved, until I was spending my time and energy on all of this because I wasn't willing to do the work on the front end, right? I want to share another quote with you. This one is from Dennis Weaver that says, "To get what you want, stop doing what isn't working." To get what you want, stop doing what isn't working. It sounds so simple, right? Like this doesn't need to be a quote. It seems like it should be innate, right? Like if you want to get what you want, stop doing what isn't working. And sometimes we don't even really recognize what isn't working. We aren't really attuned to what isn't working. If we tuned into what was going on, if we tuned into our emotions, if we tuned into that, we would recognize it. But we just keep going. We keep staying busy. We keep, thinking these things should make us happy. But really what we need to do is stop, right? Stop, take a minute, take a beat, reflect on it, and then stop doing what isn't working, right? To stop that. That leads me right into another quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that says, "You must do the things you think you cannot do." You must do the things you think you cannot do. I know that I did not think that I could figure this out on my own. I didn't think that I could get like internal. I had never been a person that really stopped. I kept going. I was like the Energizer Bunny, right? Like I was a workaholic. I was doing all of the things. I was volunteering. I was kind of just, that was my nature, right? At least that's what I told myself, that I was always go. And my husband, on the other hand, he was a reflection. He was always like slowing down, taking mental pictures, as he would call them. Like you would see him stop and pause, and like I'd be like, what is he doing? And he'd be like, I'm taking a mental picture. I want to remember this for later. And I was like, what? People do that? Like, what are you talking about? And it wasn't until later that I recognized that was like, I never slowed down enough to get clear on what it is that is important to me and why, right? I never go internal and think about what is it actually that I want and why do I want it, right? I never did that. That was just foreign to me. It wasn't something that came natural. It was really hard for me to, number one, get still. Like my ADHD brain wants to go all the time. It is part of who I am, right? To be wired that way. But what I really need to do is to do the thing that I didn't really think that I could do, which is, get still and get clear and slow down and get reflective, which will actually take me further and take me exactly where I want to go. There's one last quote that I want to share with you from Dr. Steve Maraboli that says, sometimes the greatest thing to come out of all your hard work isn't what you get for it, but what you become for it. I'm going to read it one more time. Sometimes the greatest thing to come out of all your hard work isn't what you get for it. It's what you become for it. You guys, that is the key. That is the key. That is what we want. We want to become this version of ourselves that we know we are meant to be. We don't really know what that looks like yet. And we have to unpack it. We have to figure it out. We have to take a minute, take a beat, get still, get clear, do this work that I talk about so much, this foundation that we build in the coaching, the prioritization clarity calls, those will help you to get clear, to really think about what it is that's important to you and why. It is so important for you to do this work that may seem foreign. It may seem hard. You may not think that you can do it, but I am here to tell you that you can do it. I know that you can because I did it and I did not think it was something that I could do. And now I actually enjoy doing this type of work. I actually enjoy the getting still and the getting clear and the hearing from God, right? Like I am always getting still and waiting for answers, which was not like me at all. It is very foreign to me to like wait, to not make like split second decisions, right? I like to make a decision and then move forward and not look back. Right? And so getting still and getting clear was a little bit hard and foreign to me, but sometimes we have to do that hard work. And it's not necessarily because of what we're getting for it. It's because of who we're going to become out of it. And we are going to become not only a better version of ourselves, but we are going to become an amazing parent as well. We are going to become a role model that we would want our child to look up to. Because let's be honest, where we are right now and the way that we're living our life right now is probably not something that you may want your daughter, your son, or your child to look at you and say, gosh, mommy is always stressed out. She's always overwhelmed. She's always anxious. You don't want that for your child, right? If you are sitting there and you are wondering why you're not happy, why you don't feel that innate joy, why you're not fulfilled, that is not something that you want to be, right? It's not something that you would want for your child. You would want them to have the tools to deal with this, right? And so you need to do that same thing for yourself and to really lean into what your heart is telling you, how you can step into this next version of yourself. And I would argue a better version of yourself, right? Because we're always growing. always evolving. Like if I ever stop growing, I always tell my husband, like if I ever stop growing, you know something's wrong. If I ever stop wanting to learn more about this world, about life, about myself, you know something is really wrong with me, because that is what I yearn for. I love learning and growing and becoming a better version of myself all of the time. And you need to do this reflective work in order to do that growing. And I want that so much for you, y'all, which is why I do what I do. It's why I have this coaching. Right now, you should probably go to my website, prioritizewithpurpose.com, if this is speaking to you at all, because I am offering an amazing sale for the month of May. $27. My calls are usually $47. They're $20 off right now for a call where we will get you started on this work. We will get you started in the process. I'm actually offering a 3-call package right now, which I also never do. I usually it's just 1 call at a time, but you can buy 3 for $97. Normally 3 calls would be $141, and now I'm offering it for $97. So go jump on the offer. It's a really good deal. I promise you, if you are struggling with any of this, this will be the step in the right direction that you need, where we will build this foundation to help you get started on your path forward. We are going to next week talk about avoidance and comparison. I feel like this led right into that. But until then, go check out the sale, prioritizewithpurpose.com. Prioritize with purpose, just like the name of the show.com. And I'll see you next week. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, Mama. If so, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and then hit share and send this to a mom who needs this in her day. I'll meet you right here on Thursday. Keep smiling, y'all.